Good morning, everybody. It's Lindsay Ellis with another SPS Monday Motivation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I sure did. Shout out to the Rachel Williams Foundation showing love to the community. A free screening of Space Jam. I have to admit, that was my third time seeing it. I watched it twice. Once with my daughter, once by myself. And again with H. That was a great thing for the community. I am happy to be here today celebrating the life of someone who was near and dear to many of our hearts as it relates to our hip-hop connection. Is the life of Biz Markie. That's right. Marcel Theo Hall, the Biz, human beatbox. He received international fame for his song "Just a Friend," and I admit listening to "Just a Friend" on was the jukebox video jukebox. Listen to that. I admit that, but it was his song, "The Vapors," that really had an impact on me, and is really going to impact us in today's discussion. R.I.P. to Biz Markie. Make them catch the vapors. Who is this saying good morning? Michelle, good morning. I hope you guys had a great weekend. A surprising celebratory weekend, I'm hoping. I saw some great pictures of the crew in the kitchen. Would have loved to have been there sharing with you guys. Happy birthday to the fam, Orlando, and everyone. We're talking about Biz Markie. I know you had some Biz Markie how should I say, crossovers in your life where something's going on. But it was this song. I'm just going to play the instrumental. That song that we saw on video jukebox over and over again. You knew the video was coming on because you saw the yacht. Boy, they were really doing it big for hip-hop way back then. This is 1988. So me and my preteen years, my brother had control of the remote control, so I couldn't stop it. But what I want to say about Biz today is this. When I went back and reminiscing over his life and the music that he gave us, I really thought back to my childhood. And while Just a Friend was popular, no doubt, but it was the Vapors that did it for me. But it's amazing in my research-oriented mind, Michelle, in 2021 that I could see so many breakdowns that I can look at and take something from that. I mean, even when he opens up and he starts rapping, when it starts, just the hook and how it starts, just how he drops the open line. He says, radio, TV, and even the press, they want the meaning of the VAPORS. Now, when I hear radio, TV, and even the press, it makes me think of modern day social media, modern day pop culture, just people wanting to know. And it's funny when you talk about Vapors, that's what it physically looks like, this stream. But there also was another connotation for the word vapors. And believe me, this is in no way being sexist because this is applicable to men just as well. But they talked about the vapors being a term referring to illness known as the vapors. They spelled the VAPOURS with a European flair to it. Is an archaic form of a certain mental or physical states such as hysteria, mania, clinical depression, bipolar disorder, fainting, withdrawal syndrome, mood swings, or PMS, ascribed primarily to women and thought to be caused by internal emanations. Now, again, the record states this is in no way being sexist. This is no way just referring to these activities being just of a feminine nature, because we know very well it is not. Men catch the vapors too, if you will. But what I like about Biz talking about that, he talks about coming up. He goes to his friends in the rap industry. He talks about TJ Swan. You all know TJ Swan, who sang on my record. Remember that song, Nobody Beats the Biz? Nobody beats the Biz. Don't talk about my singing right now. But TJ Swan, there's a line in there where he's trying to date this young lady, and her response is, "Baby, please, you work for UPS," meaning, as he said, since he wasn't some type of big drug dealer, my man TJ Swan didn't appeal to her. So we're talking about, let's be real, what you have as a man or a woman to appeal to the opposite sex. It shows this guy here just being humble, giving her a flower, and she gets up and gets into, a luxury vehicle with a drug dealer. I mean, let's keep it all the way 100. Those have always been the challenges, and this is not judging anybody, but from what they do, how they earn, or whatever it may be. I'm just being completely honest. I just took a picture with White Boy Rick and got so many props off that because of the connection that many have, let's face it, to the drug culture. But the reality is those who are not partaking in that, the contrast between White Boy Rick and I is that just as I took a picture with him and he represented, the 80s and the 90s drug culture, I'm representing somebody who grew up in Detroit, stayed out the way, played sports, went away to college, and thank goodness able to be a productive member of society. And unlike Rick, I didn't have to sit down for 29 years. So with that being said, that's another part of, I like how he represented that. Then he started going to other guys, Cut Master Cool V, right, looking like a young Kanye while you playing. But he talked about how he was, getting rejected. He said after getting rejected, no, excuse me, that wasn't him. He said he wanted to get a job at a store to DJ, and the guy wouldn't give him a job. But he said he went and worked hard, and eventually got to the point where he was able to, become a successful DJ. How many times have we been in that situation, folks, where we wanted something really bad? We wanted a job, we wanted to upgrade, but for some reason we didn't get it. But instead of just lamenting the point, you go and work. You go and put some work in elsewhere. You work on yourself. You work on your development. And then there's a part in that video where he's out signing autographs in front of the store, and that, the same owner of the store wants him. He said, I'm moving on. It happens a lot. Let me tell you something. I'll be totally honest. Early on with SPS, I remember reaching out to numerous people, so many people that I couldn't even name. And it wasn't until recently that I got a long Dear John type letter. I'm talking about real long, with people saying things to the form effect of a person saying they're sorry they didn't respond to me. They're sorry that they didn't. And they had these numerous excuses that made me question their authenticity to begin with. But my point being is you want to make them catch the vapors. And the only way you can do that is not being mad, not being upset, but going and better improving yourself. He talks about Big Daddy Kane. There's a scene in the video where Big Daddy Kane, which is on the right with the cane go like so, people said he'd grow up to be nothing but a hoodlum. How many times have young men and women in the community been looked at as saying, oh, he's going to have a horrible life, he's going to go to jail, he's going to be dead? And you made something of yourself. I know that can resonate with a lot of people who may be hearing this. You can understand, male or female. People may have said because of the issues you were dealing with at the time and the help that you may have needed as you look back as an adult now, you can see that. But we talk about that change and how Big Daddy got a hit record selling worldwide. I love that. And then he gets to himself. He talks about himself and where he was and how, he was trying to be down with the Source crew. The Source crew, they had their sweaters on. Shout out to my guy, Vern, Vicious V. They had their sweaters on. It said Source Crew. I had my sweater back in the day like that. It said R.I.P. Lenny. It had Gucci on the front and said R.I.P. Lenny on the back. That's where I just told the world that. But they dissed him, but what did he say? He said, after getting rejected, I was very depressed. So I sat and wrote some deaf doo-doo rhymes at my rest. Now, we all know if you do something that's deaf, some deaf doo-doo rhymes, that means they were really good. That is my hip hop vernacular translation for Eurocentric purposes. So he wrote some really good raps at his rest when he was at home chilling. But that's what you got to do. You don't get the job you want when the opportunity will present itself. Let that be fuel to motivate you to let these people catch the vapors. What did he say? Because nobody wants to be down when you're down and out. Now, you may be in a situation where you're not at the point you want to be. And we can define that as down and out. That doesn't mean you're less than a person. That doesn't mean you're like the wet food stamp Biz Markie talked about and put on this hat in this video. But we all have ups and downs. Where you start is not where you're going to finish. And so many times, whether it's social media or whatever it may be, we think we're supposed to always start up here. But if it's something you really want, you got to start here. Even with horses. My daughter loves horses. You hear the stories about horses. They say with horses, man, before you can get on a ride a horse and have this relationship with horse, you got to clean the stables. A lot of us don't want to clean the stables. We just want to go there and be. So when people do catch the vapors, when they do change and not really realize that you have had a come up. They didn't recognize that the work you put in, and I think it's worthy of that kind of impact on people. They just don't get it. They don't understand. And lastly, I'll say with Biz Markie, I think it's worth saying he was definitely not Denzel-like in this presentation. You know, Biz, if you saw him down at Legends or at a party at Michigan State DJing, he always had his mouth agape and he just had his look. He didn't care. But I guess not, because Biz was happily married. What did Biz care about that? Biz was doing his thing. That's his wife right there. I want to say Tara. And what can you say about that? You know, Michelle, what do you say? Everyone is in your corner when you're seen as a winner, but when you're in a losing season, many run away. That is exactly correct. Many do run away. And I appreciate you sharing that, Michelle, because I think we have to understand that those who run away, it may be for the best, because that meant that they weren't always committed. You know, and to be honest, Michelle, I'm at a point where I don't necessarily fault those people, because they will catch the vapors. They will end up being the ones who will be left out. You know, Biz Markie had a song talk about Just a Friend. It was based on a true story, that he had someone that he was dating out in California, and he would always call, and some dude would pick up the phone, and she would say, "Who is this?" He would say, "Who is it?" He said, "Oh," she would say, "It's just a friend." Well, fortunately for him, he had a lifelong friend that was with him at his bedside as he breathed his last breath on Friday, July 16th at 6:25 p.m. We lost a great one in Biz Markie. But the great thing about music, the great thing about now the internet, is that these things can live on. Tap into a Biz Markie song. Go back and listen to the Vapors. That should be your theme song. I'm about to turn that on when I leave out the house this morning and bump that. You know, can you feel it? Nothing can save you. But this is the season for catching the vapors. Gotta love it. And shout out to James Brown on that sample too. So with that, guys, I want you to go and have a great day. Go out there and make the world catch the vapors. Make the world be surprised at what you have done with what you have. Don't be mad. Don't be mean. Don't be upset. Just let them catch the vapors. R.I.P. Biz Markie. Until next time, this is Lindsey Hustle with SPS. Thank you guys for your support. All the best. Great day, great week, great month, great year, great life. Take care.